That's big business. Hit town, but that's big pimpin'. My potential, that's infinite. Pin game insane. Make hits like King Griffin, a 10th inning.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 48 of the 10th Inning Podcast. As always, I'm Sean. He's Dan.
And this is just a water bottle today, guys, because I just want to remind everyone, stay hydrated. There's nothing better to drink than water. So make sure, if you're doing something, getting work done, talking to a friend, enjoying a podcast, drink some water while you're doing
it. Dan, you sent me the code, I think, by mistake.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. Also, I'm repping the Cooperstown tea today, Sean. This is a John Mayer classic. That is Sean's father. This was once his sweatshirt. How do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good.
Oh, baby. What do we have here?
Well,
what are we?
You look here. Well, now my address is here. So it's addressed to Sean Aruna Meyer. And a little ode to what Mr. Vario has called me since I was just a child.
That's right.
And my birthday was Friday. Dan sent me this very early. I'm proud of him because he's not always been early with things, But this year and last year he was on very early. So
hey, listen, when it comes to your birthday, Sean, I like to be poignant, okay? Because I care about you, and your birthday is amazing. And I got another birthday surprise for you. Listen, as you open your birthday gift, I give you your second birthday present. Your second birthday present, Sean, is this man right here. And what a birthday present it is. Ezekiel Wigatow, friend of the pod. Zeke, you're hopping in at a point right now where Sean is opening his birthday card I sent to him. His birthday was September 9th, a couple days ago.
When you got me excited for a second there. Can't say why.
I'm sure we did, Zeke. I'm sure we did.
Happy birthday, Sean.
Thank you.
Great time of year to be born. Mine's tomorrow. That's the reason why.
Happy birthday to you too.
Thank you. Great to be back. It's been a hot sec since I've been here, but guess what hasn't changed? This guy's still the best pitcher in baseball.
Yep, Yep.
So I guess I should do the card reveal, the present reveal.
Go for it. Is this what you thought?
I was thinking maybe Luis Castillo.
Okay.
Profar.
Ooh.
None other than Team Sean, future catcher.
Oh, baby.
Alvarez.
Francisco Alvarez, Sapphire rookie. There we go, Shawnee. Congratulations.
That's pretty nice. That's a wonderful gift. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I know he's the future of Team Sean. We're hoping you get a name on there at some point, Sean.
Like I said, my team's got to earn a name. They've sucked the first 2 years. They start playing well. I'll give them a name.
I hear that. We now have. We'll get into it later with our picks to click. We have one of the people involved in our first pick to click, as in who will win the Fantrax championship this season. Zeke himself. How you feeling so far in the championship? 1 week down, you got 1 week to go, right?
Yeah. Let me just take I have my lead is up to 161 as we speak.
Coach had a big day yesterday, right?
What?
Coach had a big day yesterday, right?
He had a big day yesterday, and I had very little, but I have 66-0 today, and it's about to be a lot more because Framber Valdez is an out away from a complete game shutout. So,
wow. Look at Framber doing
and that'll help in both leagues for me, so that's big.
Okay.
My team, over the first 2 seasons, I'm averaging 100 more points a week than anybody else through 2 seasons. My team is unmatched with its combination of top end talent. I think 3 of the top 5 pitchers, 3 of the top 10 position players, and depth all the way through. Still young, but not relying on like streaky young guys, young proven players that are going to be with me for years to come. This is a dynasty, and a dynasty league. I am a dynasty.
And guys, I don't know what else you thought you were going to get with Zeke coming on, but a backwards Verlander jersey and him talking himself up. Sean, how about we hop into league news? I got to be honest with you, I'm happy Zeke's here today because Frankly, I have a kind of a light slate for you guys, and I know my players to watch has fallen off, but I got some good stuff for you, but a little bit lighter of a slate than usual. So Zeke will help fill in the gaps for sure. But let's get started with league news, Shawnee.
I've got a lot of league news today, and especially the first talking point here. I think we're going to talk about it for quite a while. This week, the league announced some rules being implemented next year. Long, coming rules that we've seen for a while. Among the rules, pitch clock, 20 seconds when runners on base, 15 seconds with no runners on base. Bigger bases, and a limit on shifts where two players, infielders, have to be on either side of second base, and their feet have to be on the infield by the time the pitch is thrown. Can't be on the outfield grass. And then the last one, which hasn't been reported on as much as the others, which I find a bit surprising, is the limit on pickoff attempts or a pitcher stepping off the mound. I believe it's 2 times per batter. Again, I haven't seen it as much, so I wonder if maybe this is something that's not implemented yet, but maybe they're going to factor it in. Now, this I think could honestly be the most drastic one if implemented.
I think it was implemented. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's in my opinion probably the most drastic one based on gameplay, the effect it'll have on gameplay.
Especially in the playoffs. Oh baby.
Oh yeah, I saw a little like a meme where it was like runner on first when there's already attempted 2 pickoffs. The guy's basically standing on second base because you can't step off the mound otherwise I think it's a ball. Or sorry, it's a balk, so the runner gets the next base no matter what. So what do you guys think of those rules?
I mean, wow, I had no idea that was even something being discussed. That last one, like you said, that's the whole thing. I mean, speedsters are going to look to really take advantage of that, and if they have 2 pickoffs already, I mean, you're as good. I assume that you can step off and throw over if the runner's moving, like you could attempt to get the runner out.
Yeah.
But you got to be pretty sure of that. There's going to be a lot more. I do like it because there's going to be, again, it's more of an intention of let's stop wasting time throwing over, although it's not always a waste of time. There's actual, people trying to pick people off, but as well as creating more action with more stolen bases, right? I mean, stolen bases have been going down, and I think it's one of the more exciting parts of the game. So percentages will, of course, go up with 2 pickoffs moves already done. So that'll be interesting. The shift I've already spoken about. Listen, I don't like any part of the game that deters people from taking an advantage, of can't think of the word, strategy of strategically like changing something. Less strategy is less baseball. I think baseball is built off strategy, so I don't like the fact they're limiting shifts. But at the end of the day, again, I think it becomes more hits, more action. Pitch clock, I love. I saw pitch clock the other day. I went to Charlotte to watch a Bulls game, Bulls versus Knights. They had the exact pitch clock. Didn't notice it whatsoever. I think the only time you would notice it is the pitcher's going long. You're like, holy shit, let's go. Didn't seem to affect tempo. And I don't know if you've seen the graphics, but the average, the runs per game, the strikeouts, and the walks have been almost identical, within a standard deviation. So it really hasn't affected the output of the gameplay, except the amount of time it's gone down by about 25 minutes. So I do think that's a really positive. I think I hit all of them there.
Yeah, bigger bases, I guess, but
bigger bases. Listen, safety. I'm cool with it. I don't think it really.
Now, do the bigger bases make it not 90 feet anymore?
It might be 89.995.
Something like that. Yeah. It's
I don't care too much.
Part of the rationale is that now it's like a little bit easier to beat out like a steal or something. Get that extra base. I think the bigger bases, who cares? Whatever.
I think the entire league basically looked at that one and went, that's about what you're gonna get from bigger bases.
Yeah.
Zeke, you have any thoughts on some of these rules?
Yeah, all right. So real quick, pitch clock. Here's the thing. So I've been to a few of the single A games that have it, and I'm with you. You don't really notice it. Where you notice it is you're like at the end of the game, wow, that went fast. Yeah. And at least for me, like going to the game, like that's going to be a minus for people that are going to the games.
Sure.
Because especially like if we're driving into Yankee for a game, you're going to be spending as much time driving as you are going to be at the game now. Like, because it really does quicken the. I think the minor league games I've been to have been like 2 hours 15 minutes, which I think is still a little bit faster than the average, but not. It's something like 2.5 or something, 2:40.
It's shaved
It's
about
close to
26
2.5.
minutes off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lot shorter. And now on TV, I'm not gonna have a problem with that. Like if I'm just watching a game on TV on like a night, doing some homework or just kind of having it on in the background, if it's going a bit quicker, that's more than fine with me. And I think the players will adjust to it. But it's baseball has had some problems, I think, getting people in the stands, and I think this is only less incentive to go to a game now. If you know that the game is just going to be kind of like constantly um, pushing to get faster and faster, and it's like you get less for your money in a sense. I not less like playing, but it just at a baseball game, I'm never like in person. I'm never like, oh, I wish this was taken quicker. But I do see that's only what you go a few times a year, so I think that'll be an adjustment, but it'll not necessarily a bad thing. Um, and then what was the pickoffs thing? So I love the idea of more stolen bases, but I don't think this is the way to do it because, like at least for me, I love that chess game of as like when I play, like as a pitcher, like how many more times, like at what point can I actually throw a pitch and the guy's gonna be scared enough not to steal, or as a base runner, like what point? When's this pitcher just gonna get tired and just not throw it over? That's such a fun chess game for me, still as a fan too. So. I'm gonna miss that. And if you're as a runner, you can draw two pickoffs, then you can just go. Like take as
Yeah.
big a lead as you like. What's to stop you from taking as big a lead as you want? At what? So just the enforcement. I don't even. Yeah, I need to read up on it more, but I'm skeptical of that. And then, is that it?
The shift.
Oh, the shift. Um, I mean, when you think of baseball, that's how you think of it. Two people on each side of the infield, and I don't like the shift, but I wish that hitters could have just been figure out a way to beat it naturally, and teams would have stopped doing it. Because as you said, I like the strategy, and I like the fact that baseball you can kind of, put people. It's more flexible, and that's my other complaint with the pitch clock. Baseball now becomes that's one thing about baseball. It was never a game with a clock, and now it is. Um, so
Yeah.
again, the result I don't mind, but the way they do it, the heavy-handed way, I'm concerned about what else they could do to get results I might like less.
I agree with that. I mean, I've also gone to a few minor league games this year, and each time I go to the game, it's like, wow, if it's already the seventh inning, for like you said it perfectly. From the perspective of someone at the game, you honestly want the game to go as long as possible because you want to get your money's worth, and like you said, you only go a few times a year. But from the TV perspective, you want the game to kind of get over as fast as possible. So that's kind of a unique thing that I didn't really think about until I was actually at a game and noticed it. Um, and the shift, I like that they're doing ways to limit it. Another interesting thing I saw was Francisco Lindor was quoted as saying he really likes not having a shift, and he didn't look at it from perspective of him offensively, but defensively. He said that he can actually make more athletic plays up the middle or in the hole that he may not have been able to make if you have three guys on the right side of the infield and there's less ground to cover, which is kind of a unique take that I hadn't really thought about because everybody thinks about it from the offensive perspective, not the defensive one. So that was an interesting thing he said. Um, Also, another interesting little note was every player who's on that committee did not want the pickoff move or limit implemented, but everybody else did. The owners, the umpires, whoever else is on that committee, and Theo Epstein, was the kind of the head of this, um, was very very involved with all this, which I found interesting because when I always thought of him as very much a forward-thinking executive when he was on the with the Red Sox and the Cubs, because the Cubs, I believe, when he was there, I know he's not the manager. Joe Madden was. I think they were one of the first teams to really implement shifts on like every single batter. So to hear him kind of talking about the new rules was interesting, just for me personally.
Yeah, I have three notes before we move on to the next one. I know this is going long, but First thing, obviously, you talk about the committee, everyone but the players. What else is new? Committee versus players. Committee hates the players. Committee wins. Players lose. It's awful. The whole thing is awful. Uh, moving on, more poignant. So when you said Lindor, he's happy as a defensively. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. He can actually play fucking shortstop. How many years has it been since like these players have played the position they played throughout their entire career growing up? I mean, they never almost play straight up short. They're always a couple, feet to the left or up the middle. Um, I mean, that's where they're so much more comfortable playing. I'm interested to see how defensive stats. I bet you they go up. Um, they're not going to be as close to where every ball's hit, but I think they're going to be more comfortable playing. Also visually. I know I've played infield before. Like if you're at the same spot every time visually, it's so much different than if you're moving. I mean, the arm spot's different depending on what angle you're at. And the way you perceive the ball coming to you is different. So just to be at a static position, talk about people moving all over the diamond. Literally, people were just positionless during the shift era. As far as going to the games, I completely agree with you guys, but I think that's because look at us. We're all three guys on a baseball podcast. We're like huge baseball people. I feel like for the casual fan as well, they might not mind it going a half hour less if they're just going to drink beers and hang out with their friends kind of situation. Baseball lovers, yes, we want that game going 5 hours in the rain. We don't care. But for the casual fan, it also might be different. And the casual fan's probably more common, unfortunately, than us, which is the mega fan.
Yeah. Also, I not to obviously we want to move on, but just one last thing. It's about the whole two players on each side of the infield. They can still theoretically shift.
Yeah.
On that side, you could have the shortstop closer to third base or vice versa
Sure.
to second. So you'll see that as much as possible, and I'm sure you'll get players almost behind the bag at second base, as close as they can be within the realm of the legality of it. But I'm very interested to see how that plays out. All right. Everybody good on that topic? Move on.
Beautiful.
All right. So the next one I have literally just says Pujols keeps raking! Exclamation point.
Amen, brother.
Albert Pujols. Everybody wants to see him get to 700. He just passed A-Rod. Thank God. No offense, Dan, but A-Rod, don't want him ahead of anybody. I mean, you can't not love it. You really can't.
Sean, I mean, he was my player, the hitter of the week, 2 weeks ago? The man put it against left-handed pitching. He's literally hitting 400 this year. In like a sample, like over like 40 games, like a couple, like 150 at bats. Like the man's hitting 400 against lefties. He can do it. I think he can pinch hit against lefties next year and be fine. Obviously, he's retiring. He's about 54 years old.
Is he retiring? I don't know. He gets $6.99. I don't know.
Oh, he's coming back for one if he is a $6.99. He has to.
That would be a great question. I think he's retiring. I really do. I think no matter what.
I mean, A-Rod did that. He was at what, 696, right?
Yeah.
And he called it off.
Because the whole thing, he is older than he says. Like that was the whole thing, right?
Oh, 100%. So, he's got to be close to 50.
At a certain point.
Think that, huh?
Also, all right. If I had known I was coming on, I would have actually done my research on this and seen how true it is. So I love Pujols. I'm rooting for him all the way. And same thing with Judge. But I have a conspiracy theory for you guys. MLB is juicing the balls for them.
This guy and the
There's no doubt, right? You look at the Cardinals team. They homered in like 15 straight games or something ridiculous. Tommy Edman hit like 4 home runs in that stretch or something. I love Tommy Edman, one of the best players in the league. Not a home run hitter. Like it's out of nowhere. Pujols magically has the most homers he's had in a month by like a ton in like years. Judge is Judge, but he homered in like 5 straight games or something. He just like kept like he's just been, and there's like Kiner Falefa's starting at home runs out of nowhere.
Trout's hit 6 in a row, 6 games in a row. 7.
Yeah.
Did he hit one today?
That was my next.
7.
Yeah, my next story was 7 straight games.
7 straight. So I have 2 theories. It's either MLB is juicing all the balls, or they're juicing all the balls, but especially the Yankees and Cardinals balls, because I do at some point. If I known, I would have looked at the exact numbers, but I definitely seen some stuff about like the for not just Judge and Pujols who have been on crazy stretches, but the teams in the Yankees and Cardinals games just hitting more home runs than they usually did. And it just seems like the type of thing that the MLB under Manfred would do, and I hope it isn't true. And I'm rooting for these guys to do it, and it's not their fault, obviously, if that's what MLB is doing. But with the modern day MLB, you can't trust anything. So I actually think that I think there's a decent chance it's happening.
I mean, they did this in the steroid era in the 90s. Everybody knew they were taking steroids. They turned a blind eye. So, I mean, I can understand what you're saying from that point. And it would be in their best interest to do that to a degree. But I think pitchers would start coming out and noticing the difference in the ball being wound tighter. Because a few years ago, when the balls were juiced in 2019, we heard pitchers talking about it. So I'm interested to see if this is true, that pitchers who are pitching against the Angels and the Cardinals will say, or the Yankees will say, something's not right about this. But
yeah, no, that's the one thing that makes me hesitate is I haven't heard pitchers speaking out. But again, I wanted to look into that as well. Even though after there's obviously other things that Bauer did, but he's clearly been doubly punished from the MLB for speaking out against them. So players might be kind of scared to open their mouths too.
But I just want to jump in and say we always jump to collusion. We always jump to conspiracy theories and blaming the organizations right away. When players do good, we go to collusion. Players do bad, we go to collusion. Everything's collusion. Everything is collusion conspiracy. How about it's August? How about it's goddamn August and the home run rates in August are
There you go. I like that. I want to not believe this one because, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm rooting for those two guys as hard as you can. So
Yeah.
it's just something that I didn't come up with this. One of my friends had said it, and I thought about it. At first I was like, hell no, and then I thought about it, and I was like, the numbers are a little iffy. So
At the end of the
CJ
day,
Cron hit the longest home run.
yes, and that
Statcast.
CJ Crone hit 504 feet.
And Yelich hit 499 like the day
Christian
before.
Yelich it was like 497 or something even.
Yeah.
So it's like there's all the home runs are it's I don't know, something's
Rob
going
Manfred, we're on to you.
Joe, we got to move on to the next topic. They're going to delist on video. Okay, I've seen this before.
So I said Mike Trout has 7 straight home runs or 7 straight games in the home run. Next one, Wilmer Flores, remember him, Mr. 2 years? He just signed a 2-year extension with the Giants with a mutual option for a 3rd year. I don't have the totals on that deal. You probably don't have much to say about it, but good for him. Good for him. He's still kicking out there in San Francisco. Also, Dan, this one's going to hit home for you. Grayson Rodriguez got called up to AAA.
Did not know that. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah,
That's
he's a top pitching prospect in all base. But I think he might be the top. I know he's a top pitching prospect, but I'm not sure if he's the top prospect overall.
With Corbin Carroll coming up, Francisco Alvarez probably still is a top prospect even after injury. He might be the top healthy prospect.
Yeah. Now the Orioles are going to be locked and loaded for a while if these guys pan out. I mean, even to half their potential.
Yeah.
They're going to be good next year.
Future red hot.
Of course he is. And then, and speaking of the young talent on teams coming up here, the Seattle Mariners, I have just simple look like real deal. They have a 99% chance to make the playoffs according to ESPN right now, which is good for them. They haven't made the playoffs since 2001. Who knows how far they'll get because they're going to end up being a wild card team because the Astros and Verlander are running away with the division. But I don't know. I'd love to see the Mariners, the Pacific Northwest, in playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, I immediately smiled when you said 99%. I assume Zeke smiled because of the Astros, but I thought for a second he smiled for the same reason I did. When you say 99% and then say Mariners chance to make the playoffs, I mean, that just seems like you're asking for it. You're just asking for the collapse of a lifetime, making a couple, what it would be, 22 years after this season. I mean, please God. I don't know what their magic number is, but I'm sure they're counting down. Let's just make the playoffs and have some fun, finally. Seattle.
They need it.
They do need it. We got any more league news, Sean, or is that it?
2 more. Zach Gallen's scoring streak ends. It's the 7th longest in Major League Baseball history at 44 in a 3rd inning. He broke the Diamondbacks record. It was previously held by Brandon Webb. you ever want to see something interesting about a guy's career, can just go from the heights that he was to the lows of the lows. Look at Brandon Webb's career. His arm gave out on him.
I forgot he existed.
He was
Cy
an
Young
absolute
Award winner, I
stud.
think.
Yeah, a Cy Young Award winner. I think he won. He won one. I think he was a runner-up in a second. He was a starter of the All-Star game, but his arm gave out. I think now he's a college coach somewhere.
Filthy in 2K10 on the Wii, if you guys are
Oh,
playing.
Filthy. Absolutely. And then the last one I have is Aaron Judge is currently on pace for 63 home runs.
It's a lot of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys think he'll set the American League record? I know we asked this last week, but it applies.
I still do. I think even if he doesn't do it on his own, I mean, forces align. Forces align. Jeter gets his walk-off hit in New York. Whether it be organizations actually doing something or like just human nature. I think people forget human nature has a lot to do with it, even if there's no juice balls or something. Like if you're a pitcher and you're pitching in Pujols, maybe you're thinking, I don't want to give up a homer here, or I don't want to give up a homer to Aaron Judge. But at the same time, when you're up 10-0 in a game, like we're playing ping pong, let's say, the game always ends close. It's just human nature where like things happen like that. People like it just happens. I don't know why humans are just like that. I think it happens, man. It's just destined.
Yeah, no, I think he gets there. The question is, I think it's going to partly determine how much teams want to pitch to him. There was a stretch where this week, I think, where teams just said we're going to walk you.
Yeah.
And then the other thing about Judge is he's willing to take his base hits, which could hurt him too because he's not just swinging for the fences. But it's been a magical season for him, and I think he gets there.
If it wasn't for Aaron Judge, the Yankees would be like the worst team in all of baseball.
Frankly, they still are pretty damn near close to that.
If they didn't just have an amazing start to the year, I mean, they'd absolutely be in trouble. I mean, still, their lead went from 15 to 5.5. It got down to, I think, 3.5. They won the last 2 games, but he is going to get paid, absolutely paid.
Yeah, the
and
Yankees could have got him for a discount, and they can't get any discount now.
Yeah, that's all I have for league news this week.
All right. Well, I'll take over for a second here, then, Shawnee. For everyone's favorite segment of the week, Sean. What segment is that?
Your stats for the week.
Take stats for the week. Come on now. How did Dan do for the Crimson Hot Dogs? Iced again. 2 out of 3 weeks iced. Rain Tuesday. Rain Thursday. Sean, it has rained exclusively Tuesdays and Thursdays in North Carolina the last month. I mean, that's what you get when you play softball, unfortunately. So my Tuesday, game 1 start rained out. Thursday as well. Luckily, I at least got to watch some football on Thursday. But we got 2 games on the slate for you this week. Lineups were dropped. Batting 6, playing second base on Tuesday. I am getting a Thursday start this week. I don't know what happened, why I missed out on my Tuesday start. I mean, listen, you take a week off, the manager starts forgetting that you're the ace. Sean, it is a tough business out here. I'll be on the mound batting 9th on Thursday. We'll drop in the order. Hey, listen, I think the pitcher always goes pretty low in the order, the way this guy does it. God bless, he's the coach. You know about coach. You don't question it. It is what it is. You can't do anything about it anyway. But I will be out there, Shawnee, on Thursday. So look forward to that.
Check the weather yet?
I have. Tuesday and Thursday actually look like both clear days, but they look like the coolest days in a while. Today it was like 87. Tuesday, Thursday look like they might be in the 60s, which I'm actually thrilled about. I'm a cool weather player for sure. Moving on to our picks to clicks from last week. Unfortunately, this is pretty stupid considering I'm the commissioner. I put who will win the Fantrax League, coach or Zeke. We both picked Zeke. Jay picked coach, but it's a 2-week playoff, as I know. So we'll have to wait to see the result of that pick to click for next week. Number 2.
Who picked coach?
Jay. I almost just threw up. Justin Smith. He was on the pod last week. You're gonna love the watch if you get some time.
I had no idea. I didn't know what I was walking into either.
Alrighty. So no points yet there, Shawnee. There were 5 players last week between 28 and 30 bombs. How many of them get to 30 by the end of the week? It was Seager, Trout, Arenado, Buxton, and Rowdy Tellez. Obviously, we all know Trout did it. I said 4 of those. You said 3. Only Trout and Tellez got to 30. Buxton and Arenado are still at 28, and Seager got to 29. So neither of us got a point there. Jay said 3 as well. Seattle was 9-1 in their last 7 games, and they sat at a 76-58 record. Do they reach 80 wins this week? They had 3 games versus Chicago and 3 versus Atlanta, so they had to win a good amount of them. Shawnee, you said no. I said yes. Jay said no. The answer is no. They're up to 79, so just missed. And the last one, and there was some discrepancy here. There was a little bit of discrepancy on the pod, and I'm willing to bring up the video because, honestly, Zeke, you're a lawyer. You're a lawyer, right, Zeke?
Not yet.
I'm going to let you.
Oh, God.
You don't want to be a lawyer at the end. What is your dream job, Zeke, other than a bake shop?
Prosecutor.
I thought you wanted to be a judge. I'm sorry.
Oh, judge. Yes, judge. Okay.
He wants to be like Aaron Judge. So you're going to be the judge today. Me and Sean are going to give you our cases here because I think I get a point for this last one, and Sean was trying to say that I don't. So we'll go to the tape here, Sean. Now, what time does Nay get here? Now, Zeke, Nay was my delivery driver. He was dropping off a cheesesteak for my dinner. Okay, mid-pod.
A cheesesteak?
A cheese. Listen. I got no unease on it. You're the judge. Don't point that against me. You can't have. That's how the law works. You can't do that. Right? It can't be used against me in this court. I said 10:42. Sean said 10:34, and Jay said 10:31. But he's an upstanding fellow. He was in fact an upstanding fellow. That was already determined. We don't need you there. Sean's saying it was 10:41. I'm saying it was 100% 10:42. I should get a point here.
I think I was saying it was 10:43, and it was either before or after.
He doesn't even know his own story now, Zeke. Okay, let's take a look at the result.
I can't hear the sound.
Here, let me do this. I'll cut this out if I have to. I know there's a way to share sound. Here we go.
What time is it?
Here's now.
10:40.
We need 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Now, hear what they said. They said 10:40.
Is he not there yet already?
Just skip to when he gets here.
I can only hope. 10:41.
Okay, now Sean clearly says 10:41 there. He does.
Huh?
This could be huge.
I have not yet picked up the order, though. It's not in my hand. It's not in my hand. I pick it up now.
Now 30 men, man. Yeah. Yes.
And Nav is going to come into scene. Going to say hello.
My first points on the pod.
Now I'm going to come out. The time right now is ambiguous.
10:40.
But here's the thing. You
All
open the
right,
door
all
at
right,
10:41.
All right. I
Yeah.
have everything I need. Go back to the sheet. I have everything I need. Go up. What was the question? Go up.
What time?
Nope. 10:41.
Yes. Yes.
You didn't say what time did he get there? Not even what. Like he could have been there and not even dropped the food off yet, and he would have been there. So
That brings our weekly total to Sean 1, Dan nothing. Increasing.
Wait, didn't I get 2? Wasn't there another one I got right?
Holy shit! Now this guy's going crazy. Okay, Sean.
The Braves. You said the Braves would, or the Mariners would win.
Yeah, that's the one you got right.
And then I got the. Oh yeah. Never mind. There we're good now.
Now you want 10:34. Are you calling 10:34 on the delivery?
No.
give it to him. He was sitting out there for 7 minutes.
Yeah, I'm sure he was the upstanding man that Nay was. Sean, your season total is now 27-25. Sean, a 2-point lead. You increased by 1. How do you feel about the lead?
I feel fantastic. I feel like justice is served,
Oh,
and my team is really feeling their oats right now, and I'm loving the direction we're headed
well, I hope your oats are doing better, Sean. Moving on to my hitter highlight this week. Sean, take a look. I haven't been able to do this all year, but we finally can do it. Eduardo Escobar, friend of the pod, the original, the first friend of the pod. Had a week this week, Sean, for you New York Mets.
You did.
13 for 25, Zeke. He went 520, 6 runs, 12 doubles on the week. That can't be correct. No,
You said 12
I
doubles?
said 12. He had 2 doubles. There's an extra 1 in front of my notes. That would have been fucking something else. 6 runs, 2 doubles, 3 bombs, 5 RBIs, and a stolen base en route to a 6 for 10 day in that doubleheader you guys had. Eduardo Escobar, man, he had an absolute week for the Mets. Multiple hits in almost every game.
Yeah. He's coming on strong.
I was gonna say had struggled to start the year for sure. It's been tough for him. But Shawnee, 457 this entire month. All right. So don't let him get hot.
All
Don't let him
12
get
days
hot.
of it.
That's it. 457, baby. That's almost 2 weeks he's been this scorching.
I like that out of you. Now, my hitter highlight of the week is every Yankee fan's favorite Yankee, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. The man had himself a week. 2 home runs. All right, 2 home runs this week. He had 1 home run in the first.
Balls.
Yeah, that might be the reason for it. But still, the man had 2 home runs at 385 batting average. He had 10 hits this week and 26 at-bats. I mean, not too shabby.
Mhm.
He, aside from the home runs, everything else was a single, which is very on brand. 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. I like more walks than strikeouts in a week. And he even had 3 stolen bases. He was swiping some bags while hitting some dingers. I know Yankee fans are pretty split down the middle on him. They either love him or they either hate him.
Is there anybody that loves him?
Oh, I know a few
Love
that
him.
love him. I actually know some people that love him. Yeah.
Really?
love
I'd
Yeah.
love to meet them.
I love him. He's cute. That's all I got to say. He's cute.
Isaiah
Um,
Kiner-Falefa.
But Sean, the last couple weeks we've been picking the pretty obvious big boppers. I think we were both afraid this week, and we went with our with our guys. Although they both had very
I have a hit a highlight.
Bo Bichette.
Oh, Bichette. He's
He was the guy.
he's
Yeah.
carrying banging cans and K to the chip. Listen to this week he had 16 for 32. 500 if he couldn't do the math. With 11 runs, 4 doubles, a triple, 5 dingers, and 13 ribbies. I mean, he is like just on some roll in which he's also raised his season OPS, I think, about like a few weeks ago, I want to say maybe 3 weeks ago, was about 710 or so. It's already up to 804. He basically raised his OPS 100 points in a span of less than a month. He has been on just some tear, and he's turned what was really a disappointing season into, I mean, if he keeps this pace up, he's going to end up probably, with a season much more on par with what you would have expected out of him, and right up there among the best shortstops in the AL. So good for Bo. If he can put it together for a full season, man, he's a special player.
Yeah, I mean, this is what the Blue Jays need right now, especially at third in the AL East, trying to make a playoff push. A lot of people picked them possible World Series contenders. I know I did. I had them in the World Series to start the year. Bo, though, someone that was going like first or second overall in fantasy drafts this year, if you guys remember, like at the beginning of the year, he was like crazy rated, especially with ADP. I was kind of off him. I thought that was high. I thought he would struggle a little bit this year. He's got a lot of swing and miss because he swings very hard. But when he gets on hot streaks, man, I mean, there's not a lot of players better than him. So it's good to see him and the Blue Jays start to click a little bit. They're definitely a fun team to watch. Shawnee, do you have a pitcher highlight for us?
I do. I'm just trying to pull up the stats here because I lost them.
You want me to go first? I can go first.
Yeah, maybe go first.
Sure. So I got for my pitcher highlight today, I got a former Red Hot, possible future Red Hot. We're talking about Nick Lodolo, pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds. Had a good couple starts this week. ERA of 3.78, expected ERA 3.73. So he's finally in line with what he was supposed to be, as most pitchers are now at this point in the season. Again, that's why we got rid of the players to watch, because the variance pretty much dropped off between expected and current stats. But I did want to do a little bit of a deeper dive on Nick Lodolo. Not as big as my usual deep dives, but I wanted to talk about why he was struggling earlier in the year and why I think he's been able to really turn it around this past month and a half or so. So let me share my screen with y'all. I said y'all. I've been in North Carolina for a month now, and it's really starting to get to me, unfortunately. So Lodolo's a 4-pitch mix kind of guy. He's got sinker, curveball, 4-seam, and changeup. As we can see, the sinker is sitting at 32% for the year. Excuse the burp. But if we look, that percentage is sitting closer to about 27 now, and it was at 60 to start the year. So this has been coming down quite a bit. We look at the mix he was working with at the beginning of the year. Heavy sinker dominated coming up. Decent amount of curve, decent amount of changeup, and really not utilizing his 4-seam fastball whatsoever. Big things we've seen: sinker completely taken down to 30%, and now we see the changeup actually go from 20 up to about 35%. That's a 15% jump in season. That's a huge arsenal switch. I mean, even year to year, that's a lot. That's the curveball. I misspoke. That's the curveball going from 20 to about 35. The changeup actually dropped from about 20 to about 4. So another 15% swing, basically doing opposite things there. But the fastball, something we don't see a lot, actually came up to about 30% now, 33%. Usually we don't see pitchers utilizing their fastball more, especially 4-seamer that's not moving. But clearly with the curveball coming on, this had more of a tunneling effect than the sinker. Because the sinker moves down, so does the curveball. Makes sense. He probably has a good spin rate on the fastball, which gives the illusion of rise. Just means it stays, higher in the zone longer. So probably better for tunneling. And we can see that of why he did it. We talk about this a lot, Sean. I think Cincinnati actually is one of the organization that really looks at expected stats more than results that I've seen when I do these pitcher breakdowns. You can take that however you want. Obviously, Bauer had a lot of success with it, and Luis Castillo kind of changed his slider a little bit based off of it. But we look at, in April, I mean, the expected batting average on the changeup is about 300. So that's just simply not working. The same thing here we see in what is 7? That's June, right?
Yeah.
July.
That is July.
About 400 on the expected batting average. And right after that, we said, okay, that's enough for the changeup. So the changeup doesn't work. We got rid of the changeup. The curveball is working to a degree, at least as the secondary pitch. Batting average of 316, right? So pretty much the same as the changeup at 333. But when we look at the underlying numbers, it's 142 is the expected. So they kind of moved along and said, yes, they've had similar results, but the curveball should be working more. And they moved forward with that, and take a look at that. It finally became in line, 0.71 to 0.86. So that really paid off for him moving forward. Now the curve is one of his best pitches. And the same thing with the fastball. I can go into it, but, they saw the sinker was not working in the expected stats, even though he actually had kind of better results with it. If you look, where was it here? 233 expected as far as August, but 309. I'm sorry, 233 actual, 309 expected. But the fastball, 200, 276, and they've stuck with the fastball moving forward. So just pretty much looking at expected stuff, changing his arsenal. And I think this pitch mix is going to be much more successful for him moving towards a 3-pitch guy instead of that 4-pitch guy, and getting that sinker out there for the fastball.
Quick thing to note about the sinker. Man, he's got that doesn't seem like a location I want my sinker in. He's leaving it high and he's leaving it middle.
The one thing I wish I had on these pitch maps, Zeke, is a lot of times when I do a deep dive, I go year to year and see if location improved or they changed where we're throwing the pitches. When you have just the whole year, you can't really tell. Maybe this was early in the year and this is later and they're changing location. We'll see next year, where he's throwing stuff. We see curveball, there's 2 distinct spots. I guess this is for a strike, and that's just off the corner. But like you said, I don't love that location for a sinker. You want that to be low and away or low and in, cutting in or cutting off the plate. And the same thing for the changeup. I mean, that's pretty much in the heart of the zone, especially for a changeup. It's going to dip off there. Even fastball is kind of middle. He's definitely a pitcher that has to work on his location. It's no surprise that the curveball has been his most successful pitch. It's the pitch he's dotting on the corners the most. But I like Nick Lodolo. He's really his bubbles have started to turn more red, whatever that means to you folks back at home. So he's really starting to. You can see the league average against him is really starting to improve over the last 50 plate appearances. So I'm happy he's been able to make some adjustments. I mean, we see rookies come in. What you use in the minors doesn't always translate to the majors, but it's awesome he's been able to make in-season adjustments. Definitely someone I might look to draft next year.
I've had him on and off my fantasy teams this year.
Yeah, as have I. He's had good starts and bad starts. So top prospect with Cincinnati. Hopefully he'll put it together next year. But that is my little deep dive.
I have a quick. Oh, Sean, you haven't gone yet, right? For your pitcher highlight.
Yeah, I can go if you'd like.
Yeah, you got it.
All right. So mine this week is a guy you probably wouldn't think much about, Mitch Keller of this Pittsburgh Pirates. He is not having a great year, but not a bad year. He's kind of having an average year, I guess you'd say. Wins and losses 5-10, but he's on the Pirates, so what do you expect? Touch over a 4 ERA, 4.01. He's got 137 innings, so he's been healthy for the most part this year. None of his stats really jump off the page at you. He's really just kind of your, on a decent team, your 4 or 5 starter. On the Pirates, maybe a little higher up in the staff than you would like. But this past week, he had 2 starts, 13 innings pitched, got 1 win, 2 quality starts in there, no runs given up, 7 hits across 13 innings, not too bad. I was looking at the wrong stats. Sorry, he had 7 hits this week, given up over 13, which is even better. 5 walks, which is a little high. I'd like to see that come down a little bit. Not necessarily a strikeout pitcher. Across his 2 starts, much of a contact guy. I was not too familiar with him, to be quite honest with you. Before looking into this, I had heard of him before, mostly because he pitched against the Mets recently, and the Pirates are just kind of a hodgepodge of players you either know a little bit about or know absolutely nothing about. But he's done well in the past couple starts, and he's 26 years old, young guy. Maybe he'll be there for the long term for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Mitch Keller is a guy that actually was kind of high on coming into the preseason. He was kind of one of those sleeper picks that people were talking about. He raised his velocity, I think, like 3 or 4 miles an hour over the offseason, and he looked a lot better in spring training. But it really didn't. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's done much for him.
Yeah, no, he's another guy I've streamed him a couple of times in fantasy, but he projects to me as a guy that will be able to last as a starter in the big leagues, but as a back end guy.
Yeah.
But he can give you innings ish and usually keeps you in the game. So I have one real quick.
Sure.
Nobody's gonna be surprised. I'm looking to the Astros for this one. Best pitching staff in baseball. And it's only getting better because guess what? Their top pitching prospect made his debut, Hunter Brown. And unlike Hunter Green of Coach's team, who has been awful, this Hunter actually did some good, will you say, hunting. On the spot, came up with that one.
I'm so happy Verlander's injured, Sean. I can't tell you how happy I am.
And 6 shutout innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 5 Ks against Texas. Not a great team, but solid offense. They got Seaman, they got Seager. So nothing to sneeze at, and he did it at home. In Minute Maid is hitter-friendly park. So they got another stud. It looks like their pitcher development is better than anybody else, and they already have 6 starting pitchers who are all at least like number 3 starters or better. So now to add a 7th guy to the mix, they're just going to steamroll through the American League with that kind of rotation in the playoffs.
Can't wait till they get to the actual best pitching development organization in the World Series with the Dodgers. We could really do this one for real this time. That'd be nice if there was no cheating involved, right?
Yeah, and you'll lose again, and then you can't even complain about the last time.
I can't wait, pal. I'd love for that to happen, honestly. Was there a ghost there, Zeke? What happened?
I know it sounded like somebody was dying outside or something.
I think that was Sean. Was that Sean? Were you going?
I don't
No?
think so.
Oh, that was Zeke. Oh,
It wasn't. It's outside my apartment. There's something going down.
well, I hope he's all right. Sean, I'll quickly go through my minor leaguer of the week, and you're gonna like this, Sean. We got Brennan and Benson. Okay, kind of sounds like it could be a law firm. Also sounds like it could be an ice cream shop. Brennan and Benson. We're talking about the Wills, Sean. Will Brennan and Will Benson. These guys, I thought I was seeing double when I was taking a look to see who I wanted to talk about. I want to do another Red Hot prospect. Listen, I could go on for about 10 weeks giving you Red Hot prospects. Unfortunately, half my team is full of prospects. It's probably why I'm sitting here talking to you and not in the championship today. Both center fielders, Sean, the number 21 and 23 prospects for your Cleveland Guardians. Both center fielders, both lefties. Lefty hitting center fielders, 21 and 23, both named Will. I don't even know what to say, Sean. It's pretty impressive. And also, both 24 years old. Okay, basically the same guy. So moving on, first guy, let's talk about Will Brennan, Sean. Hit tool, 55, power, 40, run, 55, arm, 50, field, 50, overall, 45. So a guy that's going to hit, seems like it could be, probably a prototypical two-hitter. Not the greatest in power, but decent on base kind of guy. These guys are both very high on base. We're talking about Will Brennan, 376 on base. Will Benson, 426 on base. We'll get to him in a second. Decent little prospect is Will Brennan. 316, 376, 11 homers, 38 doubles, though, 4 triples, and 20 bags in 122 games. So the extra base hits are there. We know with younger players that sometimes those doubles in the gap eventually turn to home runs as they grow into themselves. These guys are both 24 and both playing at AAA. So our next guy, Will Benson, is actually already called up. He's been in the majors for about 20 games now. But they're both basically AAA type players. So these kind of numbers at the step below is pretty interesting. And when I went to go get some clips for you guys, to give you an idea of who they were, literally their clips were almost identical. Not in that they're swings. You'll see in a second. So let's share this for you guys. Again, this is Will Brennan, lefty, 24 center fielder for the Cleveland Guardians.
Steps, the 1-2 pitch is hit in the air to right field.
A little bit of a Kyle Schwarber swing.
Looking up over his shoulder.
You can replay that again. Kyle Schwarber, Jock Peterson type swing. A little bit of an uppercut, but definitely some
The
thump.
1-2 pitch is hit in the air to right field. Well struck. Satsugo going back, looking up over his shoulder as that ball is out of here for a home run.
I don't even see that ball
Into
land.
the Bully Hill party deck.
So
Brennan will
that
give
ball
the
went
Clippers a 2-1
quite a
lead.
ways. And again,
speed pitch
these
down
guys
in
are
that
center
time, he
fielders.
just dropped the head of the bat on it.
And they're both good
Into the Bully Hill
defensive
area
center
out there.
fielders as well,
And just like
which
that,
is something to note. So let's take a look at Brennan playing a little bit of center field as we watch a 14-second ad. I'll get into Will Benson and his. Actually, no, we're gonna wait 14 seconds because Sean, 14 seconds it flies, baby. When I'm sitting with you, 14 seconds ain't nothing.
Absolutely.
So here he is
Fly
going
ball
back
hit
on
to
a
center.
ball.
Brennan's going back. Carter Benz gives it a ride.
That's a
Leaping
pretty
at the
nice grab.
wall and making the catch. Brennan brings it back.
The arm talent they're talking about.
Brennan
there,
goes up over the top of the wall.
Give one more look at it.
10-team division. Here's a fly ball hit to center. Brennan's going back. Carter Benz gives it a ride. Leaping at the wall and making the catch. Brennan brings it back.
How do you feel about Brennan, Sean? Will Brennan.
Just watching him play outfield, it looks like a BJ Upton type player. Or
Yeah.
Whatever he's going by now, Melvin Upton.
You guys aren't gonna believe this, but I watched Brennan hit a home run last week.
That's how you do it.
I had to verify, but I was in Columbus for the Ohio State Notre Dame game, which I'd rather not talk about. But went to the Columbus Clippers. I didn't know they were a team. Didn't know their organization. It's the Guardians, AAA.
Yep.
And that was, I mean, there was some bombs in that game, and one of them was hit by Brennan. I mean, he must have hit that ball like 470 feet. It felt like absolute, just like tank job. So, oh
And
yeah.
the crazy part is he is the guy with the least power out of the two, supposedly. But again, I think those 38 doubles will eventually translate into more power, like Zeke said. He's got a pretty strong stroke. Moving on to Will Benson now. 30-35 for hit, 40-60 for game power, 70-70 raw power. Again, like I said, seemingly more of the power prospect. 55-50 for speed, 45-50 field, 80-80 throw. You don't see that a lot. That is a perfect grade. So I don't have a video of his arm, but that's pretty insane. This guy must have crazy arm talent. And that power and arm talent is one of the things that got him called up to the bigs already. He was hitting 276, 426, 17 bombs, 16 bags in 89 games before he got the call. He's got a 146 average right now in 19 games, but a 222 BABIP, so hopefully he can look to improve that average. And his first two highlights that come up when you look up him, the first one's a robbed home run, and the second one's a homer. These guys cannot get any more alike. Honestly, you really never see a robbed home run, obviously, video pop up. Two center fielders, same team, same age, same batting side, same position, same goddamn name.
In the count.
Here he is.
1-1 pitch. Alford lifts out to center field. Benson back to the warning track. He's got his hand on the wall. He leaps and he makes the catch. Will Benson robs Anthony Alford of extra bases in right center.
Personally, I think Will Brennan's robbery was a little bit nicer.
That ball very well. He had it lined up, and
there he is. And we'll get a look at his swing. You can see a replay of it.
6'5", 230.
6'5", 230. That's a big boy.
Jumping like that with the timing you have.
Take a look at his homer. Zeke, maybe you saw him homer as well. You never know.
Sadly, I think he was in the big leagues already.
Breaking ball. There's a long.
Big boy.
Delivers. Breaking ball. There's a long drive hit out to deep right center field. That ball's way back, and that ball is out of here. A home run near the 405 marker.
So that's what we got for you today, Sean. Will Benson and Will Brennan. Do you have a favorite of the two? I can show you their stats again and their projections. Who are you voting? Who has the better career, Sean? Will Benson or Will Brennan?
So Brennan's got the 80-80 throw arm.
Benson's got the 80-80 throw.
I'm going with him because I love defense.
Okay. Sean goes defense and pop. Zeke, do you go with the average OBP and the sneaky pop you saw?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Brennan solely because I saw him, and that's a bias. But I mean, just the way that he looked like a MLB player just watching him out there. So no knock on Benson, but I feel good about Brennan. And yeah, I'll leave it there.
I actually am gonna go Brennan as well. But listen, Benson's the guy that's been called up. But when you have a 316, 376, I think it's a 20-3 stolen base ratio. I don't know. I just at the AAA level, if you're doing that, you're ready for the majors. And his pop seems like it can be sneakier than they're saying it will be. I like him long term. But again, Sean, I'm with you. 70 raw power with 80 raw throw. I mean, that's definitely a toolsy fun prospect to watch. There could be definitely some highlight plays thrown in there. Maybe a little Yoenis Cespedes at the wall kind of situation type throw. But two fun prospects that probably don't get enough love because they're already 24. Look for them for your Cleveland Guardians coming forward. And Sean, I'm going to turn it over to you because I gave you the task this week of doing the picks to click. What do you have for us this week?
I think I got some good ones. A lot of see when I do them, I like to have a lot of points up for grabs. I like the swings.
Great, Sean. whatever.
And this could help you. You know.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. Dude, man, don't worry.
Can we put like 30 points on the line so I can come back and win after my week 1 performance?
I don't know if I could do that. You know, I just we'll have a battle of the guests. You know,
Yeah.
well, separate contest for you guys. All right, so the first pick to click. Freddie Freeman is currently leading the league with a 331.
I'm sorry,
batting.
Sean. Timeout. Zeke, what just happened there? Did you just?
I probably can't say it on camera.
Okay, Sean. I would like you to continue.
I didn't see what happened, so okay.
Oh, God.
Freddie Freeman is currently leading the league with a 331 batting average. Does he finish the week with an average over 334?
331. You said it is.
Yeah.
No.
It's an easy yes for me.
All right, let me put this in here. All right. See what happens here.
What are you saying, Sean? What are you going to cheat?
Cheating, Shaw.
Cheating, Sean. He was going to say, "Oh, what are you talking about? I said yes or I said no." You
No,
cheat.
I'm saying yes.
Good.
I'm saying yes. Yeah, I guess I should have said it. I was just too busy typing it.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Cleveland Guardians, they have 2.5 games up in the division, the AL Central, the best division in all of baseball, obviously.
Mhm.
Do they finally pull away and get their lead to 4 games? And by that, I mean I could have picked any team today. Just happened to be in first because it's been just a revolving door. But do you think their lead gets to 4 or more games?
No.
No.
No?
I
Yeah,
say no.
I'm going to say no.
3 no's. Okay.
It wasn't the best question, but
No, Sean, all your questions are good. Don't worry about it.
oh, thank you. So we talked about earlier, Albert Pujols has 697 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
How many home runs does he hit this week?
I'm going to say it gets 1.
1. Zeke?
1.
I'm going to go 2.
I like that answer.
I'm going to go 2. Now, the Dodgers currently sit at, I had it up. How many wins do the Dodgers have, Dan? 90.
I'd love to know.
I had
off
it
the
up
top of
and
my head. I should.
96 wins. 96.
Okay. Okay.
Wins.
Yeah, they get 100.
They got 100. Yeah, I don't know if where did it go? No.
You had who they're
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah, they're not playing any good teams. So frankly, I don't know why I put this question in there, but I'm assuming everybody's going to say yes to this.
Nope.
You're going to say no. Okay, all right.
They're playing the D-backs and the Giants, but Clayton's going tomorrow, so they already have 1
The
win.
D-backs have been playing really well lately.
Yeah, but I said Clayton Kershaw. He's going tomorrow.
Yes, so even more reason.
Okay.
All right, so Dan and I say yes. Zeke says no.
Oh, Sean, you gonna go against me at any point so I can come back? Or are you just gonna have the
I
same
have been
answers
going
for me?
against you.
Yeah.
I just went against you the previous question
Oh, did you? I'm a little.
and the
slow.
first question.
I'm actually very slow.
That's okay.
To be clear.
So this one's a 3-parter. This is where points can become plentiful if you get it right. How many innings does Jacob deGrom go against the Cubs?
What did he go as last? Is the innings limit off? Is the pitch
He
limit
went
done?
7 last time out.
It's pretty much off him at this point.
Who's he going against again?
The Cubs.
And they suck.
I'm going to go out and say 7 2/3.
See, that was my answer. Do I have to give it the amount of thirds?
You can, yeah.
Solid 7.
7. I'm going 8.
Okay.
8 innings. All right, the next part of the question. How many runs does he allow?
I mean, I can't even imagine that even.
0.
0, huh?
I mean, just for prosperity, I'm gonna give him 1.
Oh, I was going to go 1, so. I'm going to go 0.
Probably better guess than 1.
Final part of the question is how many strikeouts does he have?
11.
Dan, you say 10?
Yeah.
Zeke, you say 11?
Yep.
I am going to go 12. I'm going to say he has a hell of a start. 8 innings, no runs, 12 Ks. And that is all I have for the picks to click this week. I did just realize that I think I may have missed a talking point for the league news. Not necessarily league news, but it was an interesting article I read. I know the episode's been running a little long, so we don't have to talk about this now. But that the Dodgers have all the pressure in the world on them to win a World Series because they have choked many times in the postseason prior. And every year they are the best team in the league. No, this is legit like an article ESPN had.
Yeah, a legit article. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can share the article with you.
I don't want to read the article. How about this? How about everyone else should just?
I'm just saying it was an interesting thing to bring up because the Dodgers are perennial regular season just like giants, and then they come to the postseason. Aside from 2020, they have struggled. You know, whether it be the Cardinals, the Mets, or the Giants over the years. You know, Cubs, Astros.
Listen, it's very difficult to win multiple World Series even as a dynasty. I'm sure Zeke will tell you the same thing. It's not. I mean, you can have the best team in baseball. Once you get into the playoffs, man, it's anything can happen. Literally anything can happen.
They need to win one, not in a non-COVID year, though.
Yeah.
I do agree. I mean, I think the COVID World Series still counted because I think once you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. And they played good teams in the playoffs. But that being said, I do think they need another win, even just for the dynasty's sake. This has been, 8 years, 7 years at this point. I'd love to see another win for them. And they do have a lot of pressure because they are supposed to be the best team. They're supposed to. When you're supposed to win, you do have the most pressure. So I agree. But, Sean, we're at the last segment of today, and Zeke, as the guest, I'll let you pick. As you know, Zeke, I recently purchased 70,000 baseball cards, which you were thrilled about when I did. So what we've been doing is I'm going to scroll my finger across here. You're going to tell me to stop. I'm going to pick that card out, and we're going to discover a new player.
Stop.
I feel like that's right where Jay. So let me just stop. We got Luis Soho.
How do you spell his name?
Luis 8SOJO. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
That name.
He was the second baseman. This was his third year in the majors for this card. Had 100 hits even. He had 272 in 106 games, Shawnee, in this specific year. He was acquired from the Blue Jays on December 2nd, 1990, with outfielder Junior Felix and Ken Rivers for outfielder Devin White, Marcus Moore, and pitcher Willie Frazier.
What team?
He's currently on the Angels here, acquired by the Blue Jays. He's from Venezuela. Not a lot of Venezuelan-born players, so that's pretty cool. Righty, 175 pounds, 5'11". Birthday is January 3rd, 1966. Anything for me on Luis Soho, Sean?
Yeah, he was on the Yankees when they won like 3 straight World Series in the late 90s and early 2000s.
Really? Guy's got 3 trips with the Yankees. Good for him.
Yeah, he was on them from 96 to 2003.
Okay, so he did have a longer career than obviously this.
Yeah.
How many years?
He played for 13 years, but I believe him to be more of a utility player. He didn't play more than 113 games in a career, and after that season, he was in like 77, 54, 63, 49, 95. So I take him as more of a utility guy.
All right. Well, we're going to take one guess to close it out. Zeke, utility guy for 13 years. How many homers did he hit in his career?
52.
I'm going to go 9 a year. What's 9 times 13? 117. That's a lot, probably. Maybe I'll go 7 a year. I'm going to go 91.
The answer is 36.
Price is right. We both lose, Zeke. That he did not have a lot of pop. God bless Luis Soho. Congratulations for being a 3-time world champ. More than any of us could say. Thank you for tuning into this episode 48. the DeGrom episode. They should have watched his start this week. There's Justin Verlander to see who got the questions right, the pick to click for Sean's 3-point whatever. I love the Mets, frenzy that he went on there in the picks to click. You give him a job, and that's what he does.
It was just one question.
Yeah, 3 points, one question, 3 questions melted in. Everyone saw what you did, Sean, and you screwed me out of a point.
Before. You have done it before.
Yeah. Okay. All right. When I picked up the phone after Nate gave me the food, Sean, it was 10:42 when I started eating that cheesesteak.
Yeah, but he got there.
You worded the question differently.
See you next week.